Welcome again, everyone. We begin with the United States saying it has ordered a guided missile submarine and a USS Abraham Lincoln aircraft carrier to the Middle East amid rising tensions in the region. The order followed a telephone call between U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin and Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant. During the call, Mr. Austin reiterated the United States' determination to take every possible step to defend Israel. The move comes in response to fears of a wider regional conflict after the recent assassination of senior Hezbollah and Hamas leaders. It also signals the U.S. ironclad commitment to help defend Israel from any attack by Iran. Let's bring in Chukwuemeka Eze, acting head of Department Public Law, Prime University, Abuja. He joins us from our Abuja studio. You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Joke.
Right. So would you consider the U.S. deploying missile-guided submarines an extreme move akin to actively participating in this war alongside Israel?
Yes. What's your question again?
I said, would you consider the U.S. deploying missile-guided submarines and an extreme move akin to actively participating in this war alongside Israel?
The U.S. has strategic interests in the Middle East. And if the war goes on, this interest will be affected. So it is in its strategic interest to have ordered USS Georgia to the Mediterranean, so to the Middle East. So having ordered USS Georgia and also USS Abraham Lincoln, so it is ready for the war. And the USA action can be supported partly by both current principles of international law and customary international law.
And could this risk even more escalation, sparking even greater tension in the region, especially from Iran and Lebanon?
Yes, it could lead to escalation. On one hand, it can also act as an act of deterrence on the other hand. For instance, it is not normal for a country to announce the presence of its nuclear power submarine in waters as the US has done. And I think that announcement was to let Iran know that, oh, we are ready for action. So that if you take any action, the cause will have an effect. So I think it will have effect. It can escalate depending on the permutations of Hezbollah, the Houthi government in Yemen, Hezbollah in Lebanon, and Iran itself that controls the other two. Basically, the G7 countries, especially France, Germany, and Britain, are calling on Iran to scale down their threat to strike back. And this is the second time Iran wants to do so, having done so when its consulate was struck on 1st April 2024 by Israel. Iran struck back on April 13 with avalanche of drones. So this one that Hamas late leader, that's Ismail Haniyeh. So this one that he was killed on 31st July in Iran has given room for another attempt by Iran to attack. And if he does so, Israel has declared that it is in a state of war. So basically, there will be full-scale escalation. Announcements are already there that people should leave Lebanon, that's Beirut, with the next means of transport. So there is preparation for full-scale war in the Middle East. And this may be one of the worst, because in previous ones, fought in 1967, 73, 1948, and even that of 1982, Iran was not involved. So if the Persian kingdom is drawn to this war, then the world will be witnessing another dimension to international war and escalation in the Middle East and beyond the Arab countries.
Well, and Iran, as you recall, did accuse Israel of assassinating the Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh, as you've mentioned just a little while ago. A claim Israel has not responded to. The IDF usually does not respond to such inquiries. What do you envisage Iran could be planning in terms of retaliatory attacks in light of this new development that could take it, to the levels that you just described?
I think Iran has said, and Iran doesn't like taking back its word, that Israel will be punished. And since it has come from their spiritual leader, it will be seen as a sign of weakness if Iran does nothing. So it is being expected that Iran will strike. But the magnitude of that strike and how Israel will respond will be another thing. For instance, Israel said that striking its civilian population is a red line. So if Iran strikes and several civilians are killed, then Israel will definitely strike Iran, and that will lead to a very potential terrible situation, of which at the end of the day, we still end at the round table. So one had expected that Iran would have taken the matter to the Security Council, because having waited for this length of time, at the end of the day, if they should take the matter to the ICJ, the issue of whether the Caroline test, Iran passed the Caroline test, what we call the Caroline test in the case of the Caroline of the 19th century, that in preemptive self-defense, that it has to be instant, overwhelming, leaving no choice of means and no moment of deliberation. And this has been codified in Article 51 of the United Nations Charter. So whether Iran will hang on to self-defense in its use of force or declaration of war against Israel, when the whole thing burns out, let's watch and see, but it may be difficult to say that it is instant, overwhelming, it has satisfied the Caroline test.
Right, but in trying to de-escalate the situation, do you think that if Iran had gone to the UN Security Council, it would have, agreed, to its terms to say, look, this is what's happening, we have a right to defend ourselves, this is what we're going to do? Does such a body usually agree to it when, there's a crisis on ground?
No, the United Nations Security Council is the superintendent of world peace and order under Chapter 7 of the United Nations Charter. And this is not a new situation to it. This is not even the first time someone has been assassinated in a foreign land. But basically, if they get to the UN Security Council and there's a resolution, definitely that means the world opinion will be against Israel. Because there is no way the world will support a situation where a visiting national, foreign, because Haniyeh was treated as a diplomat, being the head of the Hamas in Iran. So having been assassinated in Iran, even though Israel has not accepted it did, but almost everybody has accepted that Israel did it, directly or indirectly, expressly or impliedly. So having done that, there's no way. But the dimension is about taking now is going to cause sufficient havoc, not only to limbs, to lives of people, but properties and international economy and trade, because that is a vital artery with what the Houthis are doing in the Mediterranean. If war takes its toll on the Middle East, definitely 1/3 of the world economy will be negatively impacted. And that may spill over, taking in conjunction with the Russian-Ukraine war, then there is expectation of recession, worldwide recession will be coming if this war takes off the way they are planning to go about.
Right. And do you foresee further collaboration between the U.S. and Israel in this war, and the U.S. as an entity fighting on behalf of Israel?
U.S. is avoiding a situation it will come out in full force to fight in favor of Israel, but the equipment will be provided and certain assistance will be given, because Israel and U.S. has a defense relationship. So Israel enjoys ironclad support from the U.S. It is in U.S. interest that Israel is not defeated. If you recall the wars of the Yom Kippur War of 1973, and even the Six-Day War of 1967, when U.S. was, relating with Egypt on one hand and Israel on the other hand, at any point Israel was about being defeated, U.S. always come to its aid, even though it had a very good relationship with Egypt, with Anwar Sadat at that time. So it seems to be a very long relationship. It's not one that will go away so soon. So if Israel is attacked, the U.S. might play neutral role just for a little while before it will venture into. The U.S. will be waiting to see whether there are other countries that will be coming in favor of Iran. If they exist, there is no way U.S. will keep quiet to allow Israel to be defeated.
Right. Acting HOD, Public Law, Prime University, Abuja, Chukwemeka Eze, thank you for your time today.
Thank you so much.